and welcome to The Muslim View. I'm your host, Sarah Darsha. We're here at the Islamic Center talking to Muslims and non-Muslims about what Islam is. We hope that you enjoy the show today, and we hope that you learn something new about Islam. We're here with Imam Jamal Talib, the Imam of the Islamic Center of Southwestern Ontario. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you.
Imam Jamal, talk to us a little bit about Islam. What is it? What is it exactly? And how we can come together as Muslims as a community.
Islam, the religion of submission to God, and to submit to your God is for the betterment of someone's life and for the betterment of others as well. So therefore, when Muslims understand Islam appropriate manner and they learned about Islam, they contributed a lot to the humanity. And we can see, for example, in the field of physics and chemistry and mathematics, that we contributed a lot because we believed Islam as a submission to God is to discover yourself and to discover society around you to benefit those who need to be benefited. Because Islam mainly here is to build, and إعمار الأرض استعمركم فيها, the Quran stated استعمركم فيها is you're here, your job is here to build this humanity and build the humanity in all kind of building. So therefore anything that's coming to destroy this image, this beautiful image of Islam, then it is not from Islam. So we need to understand that Islam is a religion who came with the first word of read. And the book Quran, the book itself, Quran, the meaning of the Quran in Arabic language, it was driven from the word read. So it's to discover. And when God tested Adam in the first time, he tested him about علم وعلم آدم الأسماء. علم آدم الأسماء in the Arabic language, Adam was tested because of his ilm, and he was respected by the angels because of his ilm. And even the angels, they said, how come you put on earth someone that they might mischief, and we're there to serve you and to have this devotion to you. So God tell them, with knowledge of Adam, that the earth will be built. So knowledge, book, pen, is what Islam is really focusing on.
And in light of, the different things that are happening around the world, how are Muslims supposed to react? How would the Prophet ﷺ, how would he have reacted, and how did he react in difficult times?
We always, in difficult time, we ask people to act wisely. The Prophet ﷺ, he was faced with many difficulties, and with some people also who understood Islam in wrong way. So, and he acted wisely. He taught those people what is the true Islam. And the story that we told in the ceremony today, it's about a man that he used to stand before people and he used to say, I'm following Islam and I'm a true Muslim. And at night when he goes to his home, he starts burning the fields of people and kill their animals. When this approached the Prophet ﷺ, he did not accept it. He said, this is not Islam. Islam is beliefs and is action. So, and he started teaching this man is a correct way, wisely. So the system of education is very important to be built. The fear is not gonna do anything, and maybe the enemies of humanity, whatever their names is they're creating this environment of fear, is people not to discover each other's, and instead of knowing one another, that they build this hate among people. And this is against the teaching of Islam. The teaching is Islam emphasizing of people knowing one another, build this trust among each others for the betterment of humanity, and to contribute back in any kind of in any methods of life back to the community. And this is the real worship in Islam, that we understand. If in a city, for example, like London, if there is no doctor, that the rest of the Muslims will be sinner. And if there is no engineer in the city of London, that the rest of the Muslims will be sinner, because our due. We have to Islamically, we have to cover these areas that serve people and cover the areas needed. So we have to have doctors, we have to have engineers, but those who are calling for the being civilians being targeted, and they're actually way from Islam, and I think they have mental problems, and they need some psychiatrist to look after them, because really it's not Islam at all.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Sheikh Jamaad.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
We'll be right back with more after this. Welcome back. We'll be joined by Kate Young, MP of London West. We're here with the Honourable Member of Parliament, Kate Young of London West. Welcome to the show, Kate.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's an honour to have you. We wanted to talk a little bit today about, you're here at the Islamic Centre. What have you seen, Muslims to be? What have you seen Islam to be so far?
This is a community. A part of London, just like all other communities. But the one special thing I think about the Islamic community is that you know how to share and you know how to bring others in, and certainly that you teach us what it takes to be a good community member. And I am always blessed to come here and to see you and to talk to the people here and to see the families. I think that's so great to see everybody come together and share the positive things that are happening in the world, because we know that there are so many negative things that can bring all of us down. And it's important that we stick together, that we go shoulder to shoulder and feel strong together. And we know that there are very many positive, beautiful things happening in Canada, and we want to make sure that people remember that even though we're hearing terrible things around the world, that for the most part we are so lucky in Canada to be a community of diverse nations, and that we're better because of that and not despite it.
And what tips do you have, for the community to, I guess, help bring us together, to help, unite with Muslims and make sure everyone is comfortable, whether you're Muslim or not?
Well, I think it's important to educate yourself about all different communities. And I think that's where we run into trouble, is when people don't understand and don't realize that what we have here is we have a nation that is made up of immigrants and refugees, with the exception of our Aboriginal Canadians. And certainly because of that, we all need to learn a bit more about everybody's culture. And that's what makes it so enlightening and so inspiring to be a Canadian, because we have a country where we can learn so much about everybody else and enjoy that. And I think that when we shut ourselves off from learning, that's when I think some people run into trouble.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Kate.
It's been a true pleasure. Thank you for asking.
We have Osama Abbas with us, joining us all the way from Ohio. Welcome to the show, Osama.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Islam. Osama, talk to me a little bit about what Islam is. What does it mean to you?
Islam to me is something that is very dear to my heart, and I don't like to look at it as just a religion, because it's a lot more than just a religion. Another thing about Islam that is really, really beautiful to me is the fact that there are no colors in Islam. There are no borders. Islam is a faith that lives in the heart, and because of that, it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what color skin you are, and the only thing that differentiates us is the faith, the level of faith that we have in our hearts, and that's only known by Allah, by our Creator. So there's nothing that really from the outside that we really aren't supposed to differentiate between each other. It's Allah's the only one that can do that, and that's only based on the level of faith that we have for Him. So.
And Osama, I have a question. So, in light of the attacks that are happening around the world, I mean, it's a very tough time for Muslims. So, what do you think? What are some things that we can do as Muslims to bring together our community, to work with the community? What do you think we should be doing?
That's a tough question. I think a result of what's happened and all the violence that's happening, unfortunately, it's giving a lot of non-Muslims the wrong image of Islam. And that's outside of the Muslim community. Within the Muslim community, the effect that's having upon us is Muslims are actually shying away from their religion. They're becoming more and more afraid to show that they're Muslims because they're afraid that they're going to be retaliated on. So I think it's very important that we stand together and support one another and reinforce our validity and our certainty within our faith. I think we have to know that Allah's watching everything. He's aware. He's fully aware of everything that's happening, and just like it's a test for the victims to these incidents, it's a test for us as well. You know, how true are we going to remain to our faith? The only way we can fight what's happening is to let people know that this is not Islam. Islam is not what it's not. Islam is peace.
And if you feel like the Prophet ﷺ was still here today, how do you think he would handle such difficult situations?
Oh boy, you know, SubhanAllah, I think he would, if he was with us today, I think he would take the most non-violent approach to addressing the people. Just like in the sermon today, the Imam was talking and he was giving examples of how the Prophet, peace be upon him, dealt with certain situations where a large number of Muslims were killed unjustly, and how, you know, when one of the companions took revenge and killed two non-Muslims, the Prophet was very, very disappointed in that, and he taught us that that's not how we're supposed to deal with things. The only thing I could say is I would imagine that he would be very non-violent and very peaceful in however way he wished to address the situation.
Thank you so much, Osama, for joining us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
We'll be right back with more of what Islam really is after this. Welcome back to the show. We'll be talking right now with Teresa Armstrong, MPP of London Fanshawe. We have Teresa Armstrong with us, MPP for London Fanshawe. Welcome to the show, Teresa.
Thank you, Sarah. It's really a pleasure to be here today.
Thank you for coming. We're very happy to have you. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about what, you're here today. You're seeing Muslims, and tell me, how do you feel about Muslims and what you've observed?
Well, I have been involved with the Muslim community, and today I came just to respectfully attend the prayer and show my support and to stand in really solidarity with the Muslim community, because this community in London, and I'm sure all over throughout the province, has set an example of the caring work that they do. They give back in so many ways, and they open their doors to everyone into the center. And so whenever I come here, I feel part of the community. I feel welcomed, and they're just so friendly and very cherished when I come here. So I have a very special place in my heart when I come to this center, because I feel very like family. I come here and I feel like I'm part of a family.
Have you ate any of the food over there too?
Yes, and I always make sure I say hello to the wonderful women in the kitchen, because they work sometimes night and day for certain events that they have. And they do it out of the kindness of their heart and the love, and it shows in the food that we eat. So I've never had a bad meal here, and I continually come back for the nourishment as well as the fellowship that they provide.
That's awesome. Talk to me a little bit about how you feel Muslims can come together and be part of the community, and hopefully not be alienated by anyone. I know London's been a very gracious city to Muslims and non-Muslims, but what kind of things can we do to make sure that everyone's included and everyone feels accepted?
I think that this community is very strong and united. But one of the things that they are doing correctly and promoting and just being naturally people is that they don't have a preconceived image of who they welcome into their community. And so I think doing that is a real strength for the Muslim community. I work with Muslims. We have them, throughout the city. I think people just have to stop worrying or maybe having that perception and just be themselves. And I think when you're yourself, it's authentic and people are just people and they communicate as people. But, what you guys do, what Muslim community does for London, it certainly reflects and shows how people have been integrated in, and that's part of the strength that you're doing. So just keep up that work. I've been to events where they're in schools, and everyone comes out to those events. The multicultural event that happened this year off of Wonderland, I can't remember the school now, but there were clothes being given away to people who needed them. Just the generosity that's shown from the Muslim community. It's really one of the most phenomenal things that I have seen lately. And you guys just keep giving, and you keep forgiving, and you keep moving on, and you try to keep doing things that are positive. And that's what I really enjoy about this culture.
You're going to make me cry. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us. That was beautiful.
Oh, and you know what? I really believe that because just even some of the teachings that I've heard over the years, it's something that I feel like, and my parents taught me, and people need to get more involved and understand just Muslim people, different cultures, we're all people, we're all human beings, and we all in the end want the same thing. We want to live, we want to have our health, have a good future for our children and live in peace.
Thank you so much for joining us, Teresa.
Nice to meet you, Sarah. You too. Great.
We're here with Halima. She's in grade 9 and she is a volunteer at the Islamic Center. Welcome to the show, Halima.
Thank you for having me.
Halima, talk to me about, first of all, what do you do here at the Islamic Center? What kind of things do you volunteer in?
I like volunteering on working on things, doing things for Muslims so everyone in the community can come together and just be a family and just talk about Islam and all that. It's really a good thing to do, and I just love volunteering. All my volunteer hours, I've been doing it here for since I was in grade 8, so it's really good.
So how do you feel when, as a Muslim in high school, do you feel like you need to try harder as a Muslim, or you're just being a Muslim, everyone respects you and it's all good?
To be honest, everyone respects me, the person I am. I don't really care what other people think, and there's a lot of Muslim people in my school, which is good. Everyone, all of us are friends, and nobody really cares. Nobody judges anyone. Nobody judges their skin colors or if they wear hijab or if they're Muslim or their religion. Everyone's fine with it. Nobody cares. Yeah.
And so you said you like to come to volunteer here. How does it help you when you're surrounded by Muslims and surrounded by your community, outside of school?
It helps me be a good Muslim. Remember, if I'm doing something bad for that Allah is gonna ask me. It helps me to remember that I need to go back to Allah and just do things right, and it just really helps me because I'm hearing a lot of people seeing a lot of people Muslims and just they're doing good things. Maybe I should do good things too. So it really helps me a lot.
Thank you so much, Halima, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Okay.
We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the show. Let's talk more with the community about what Islam really means to them. We have Shaf with us. Welcome to the show, Shaf.
Hi, how are you, Sarah?
Shaf, talk to us a little bit about how you feel as a Muslim today. There's been some recent, negativity around Islam. Talk to me about what Islam means to you.
Well, first of all, Islam is, for the most part, it's really in line with the Canadian values. In light of the tragedies that did happen, there are a lot of benefits that come from these types of incidents. For one, I have a lot of friends that don't necessarily ask questions unless events happen. And despite the negative stuff, there's a lot of positive that comes from it. I think after the tragedies of November 11th, I'm pretty sure the rate of Islamic conversion actually went up. And there's people that really do want to learn more about the religion before they judge. So that is a little bit of a positive spun from a negative situation. And in terms of all the backlash that's happening, it is negative. But I think those people are negative in general to start with. I think the people in the average public and the nice people in general, they really do understand where our values are, where their neighbors. Again, we're very in line. That's one of the reasons why people want to come to Canada, is because it's not different than how we normally feel. The social welfare system is very much in line with our upbringing and our understanding of our religion. So it is very good in that sense. But again, we do feel bad for the tragedies, just like anyone else would feel bad for the tragedies.
Okay, and so how do you feel as Muslims we can come together as a community, be part of the larger, not only Muslim community, but even the London community as a whole?
I don't know if we haven't been doing that. I mean, everyone kind of lives their life according to the values that they grew up in Canada. You'll see a lot of Muslim people that are from different parts of the city that act differently. They're not necessarily acting the same because they're Muslim. They're acting the same because they're Canadian. And then their religion helps them with their values and helps them stay on course. And again, these are things that really do work well with the Canadian values in general. So to be Muslim and kind of act like that is not necessarily to act differently. So I think to keep our community, I mean, this brings us a little bit closer together because it does help us in terms of communicating, opening up any floodgates to maybe some stigma, like some negative misconceptions about Islam. So I think in that sense, open dialogue is good. Stuff like this is good. Reaching out to people, talking to each other in a sense of community rather than in a sense of secluded religious ideologies or religious mindset. I think just coming together, not knowing who's what religion, just having conversations, that really helps out. And if there are a lot of people watching, and I hope there is, I really urge people to ask Muslims questions on a daily basis, even stuff you think is controversial. For the most part, I prefer if you ask me and I can answer you like an adult or like a human being. We're not going anywhere, you're not going anywhere. If we communicate positively, then we can get past this and we have a better understanding of how each other thinks.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Shah.
No problem. Thank you very much, Sarah. All right.
We have Hussein with us. He's a volunteer at the Islamic Center. He's in grade 8. Welcome to the show, Hussein.
Hi.
Hussein, talk to me about why you love Islam. Why are you volunteering here today?
Well, because I just want to get thanks from a lot of people here, and my friends and my family go here to volunteer. It's a great place, and I pray here a lot. I came here like the Ramadan every day. It's a beautiful place, and I just wanted to make it more beautiful.
And what kind of things do you volunteer in at the Islamic Center?
Well, we're selling Timbits over here, and we want like people joining we're making contests for Quran, and the winners get prizes and all that. I'm proud to be a Muslim. At school, I have fun with all my friends. They respect me, they respect my religion, and it's fun.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Hussein.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope that you have a better understanding of what Islam means to Muslims and non-Muslims. That's our time for the Muslim View. We hope that you enjoyed the show. I'm Sarah Darsha. We'll see you next time.